Today we're going to be talking about exhibiting tomatoes at the fair. Exhibiting vegetables at the fair can be a very rewarding experience, and it can show off your skills as a gardener. When you're exhibiting at the fair, make sure that you always get a fair book and read the rules that are given there, because it's going to tell you how to prep the vegetables as well as how many are required. Now with tomatoes, what we're going to look at is that usually they are exhibited as full-grown main season types. They are sometimes shown as cherry tomatoes, and plum tomatoes would be a third possibility. The numbers do differ on all of those types, so be sure that you check the rules. With the tomatoes, they are shown either mature or immature. Typically, the books will require that they are shown as mature tomatoes, which means that they are going to be colored, fully colored, not partially turning from green to another color, but fully colored all the way around. When they are shown, they can either be exhibited with the tops on or the tops off. Again, the rules will sometimes specify. If it does not specify, my personal preference would be to take the tops off, because what will often happen when you're picking the tomatoes and taking them to the fair is that that stem is very hard and stiff, and when you put them in a basket or a box and take them to the fair, the chance of it poking into another tomato is extremely high. That's going to cause damage to the fruit, and that's going to be a deduction for you when the judge looks at them. When the tomatoes are shown, if the cap is left on or that stem end is left on, it should be really fresh, which means that you're going to see this leafy cap very fresh looking. If you've picked those tomatoes too early and left that cap on, it's going to turn very dry and brittle, and that's going to be an indication to the judge that that tomato may have been held for a very long period of time. The next step when you're looking at the tomato itself or selecting them is that they should be firm. Again, we're looking for produce that is what you would buy at the store if you're going to be eating it, but it should be firm and should not yield too much. If you press your thumbs in it too far and it's very mushy, then that indicates that that tomato is a little bit too past prime and probably not be a good choice. So when you're selecting the tomatoes, once you have picked them, again we're looking for similar sizes, shapes, colors to be exhibited on the plate. Now with large main season type tomatoes, typically 5 is exhibited. There isn't much to do to prep the tomato for exhibiting other than to clean it just a little bit. So get a bucket of water, get a sponge or a soft cloth, and if there is any dirt or debris on there, simply wash the skin of that fruit and then let it dry. But there shouldn't be much preparation for the tomatoes itself. Now when you're exhibiting the tomatoes, if there are any blemishes on the top, sometimes we have yellow shoulders, or you might have some ridges that have formed in there, it's a good idea to turn those tomatoes upside down on the plate. That way when the judge looks at that exhibit, he or she is not going to actually see those flaws, and their first impression is going to be the bottom sides of those fruits. So you always want to pick the best side for those tomatoes that you're going to be selecting. So those are the 5 that I've selected, and I've tried to choose, again, those that are uniform size, shape, and color with as few blemishes as possible. So hopefully that's going to give you some tips to have a blue ribbon at the fair.